Ever feel completely exhausted by life? Like you are just a tiny island of you, pushing against a massive tide of everyone and everything else? It is a stressful way to live, this constant feeling of me against the world. But what if that physical boundary you feel between your body and the rest of the universe isn't entirely real? It might actually be a trick played by your own mind. There is an ancient Eastern philosophy called non-dualism. In plain terms, it suggests that absolutely everything in existence, from the stars to the trees to the person next to you, is made of the exact same essence. When you realize that the strict dividing line between you and the outside world is a mental illusion, you take the first real step towards easing your deepest existential anxieties. To picture how this works, imagine a small, solid clay pot being submerged into a crystal-clear, slow-moving river. The moment it goes under, the pot fills entirely with water. But its solid clay walls seal off that small volume of liquid from the surrounding environment. Look closely. The water inside is identical to the river outside, yet because of those solid walls, it's completely trapped. As long as they hold, the water inside remains perfectly still, cut off from the rushing current. This simple image, a metaphor from the 15th century mystic Kabir, mirrors the tragic irony of our own human condition. In this scenario, the trapped water sitting inside the pot represents your individual consciousness, your personal awareness of being alive. Most of us operate in a state called dualism. This is the persistent belief that I am a separate entity, totally disconnected from everything else in the universe. Those solid clay walls represent your ego, built from anxious inner chatter, a swirling layer of noise and worries. Identifying only with the water inside, we frantically protect this tiny drop of identity from the vast, unpredictable river. We experience deep suffering because we dedicate our lives to defending a boundary that we constructed ourselves. An ancient guidebook called the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra offers a way out of this trap. It comes from a tradition known as Kashmir Shaivism, which teaches that the entire universe is made of one single living consciousness. The text takes the form of an intimate dialogue between two divine lovers, Shiva and his consort, Devi. This framework of love is used because logic and argument often keep our mental walls standing. Approaching the truth like a lover, you stop arguing with the universe and simply absorb it. You become receptive, allowing the sense of being a separate me to melt into a shared we. The core message here is that universal consciousness is indivisible. If the source of everything cannot be divided, then every individual person and object must be made of that same divine material. If the essence of the creator and the forms of the created are the same, there is no you and the universe. There is strictly one. How do we actually feel this connection in our daily lives, instead of just thinking about it as a theory? Ancient traditions point to a practice called no mind. This is the intentional act of letting your internal chatter fall completely silent. When your mind stops generating thoughts and judgments, the ego loses the constant input it needs to maintain its structure. It temporarily disappears. In our metaphor, reaching this quiet state of mind is the equivalent of watching those clay walls dissolve into the water. Without the mind constantly creating solid boundaries, you can instantly experience your true, boundless nature as part of the whole. When the pot breaks, the water inside isn't destroyed. It is simply liberated back into its infinite source.
You absolutely do not need to permanently lose your identity or live in a cave to benefit from this truth. Recognizing this unity changes how you handle daily life. If everyone you meet is made of the same essence as you are, the usual reasons for conflict, like feeling superior because of money or status, lose their power. You stop fighting the world because you realize there is no other to fight. That exhausting battle against the current was always based on a misunderstanding of what you are. Underneath the illusion of your thoughts, you have always been, and you will always be, the entire river.